Hello and welcome to The Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm George Szamuely. With me today, of course, is co-founder of The Gaggle, Peter Lavelle, host also of RT's talk show, Crosstalk. Well, Peter, yesterday, it seems like the American attempt to thwart Nord Stream 2 was finally put to bed. The US and German governments issued a joint statement in which they said that finally the United States stops all its opposition to Nord Stream 2. It accepts that it's going to happen, and says, but we will keep an eye out on what the Russians are up to. And so they talk, the United States pledges to support Germany and France's efforts to bring peace to Eastern Ukraine. And then it talk that this is the part where it's very good. That together Germany and the United States will respond to Russian aggression and malign activities, including Russian efforts to use energy as a weapon. Should Russia attempt to use energy as a weapon or commit further aggressive acts against Ukraine, Germany will take action at the national level and press for effective measures at the European level, including sanctions to limit Russian export capabilities to Europe, including gas. And in the meantime, Germany pledges that it will make sure that Russia, after 2024, renews its pledge to transport natural gas via Ukraine. And then they also throw in a few $1 million for green energy programs in Ukraine. But other than that, it kind of comes to an end. Now, of course, the Republicans are furious and saying, sellout, traitor. But even Democrats are furious about this. As a SOP, Zelensky has been invited to come to Washington. He's coming here on coming to Washington on August the 30th. Ukrainians are obviously very upset about this. There's an article in Politico that says that somehow the Americans leaned on Ukraine, asking them not to kick up a fuss about it and to criticize the US government, because otherwise US-Ukraine relations will be harmed.
You know your place.
You know your place. Now, the Russians issued a statement today, which was quite amusing because, of course, they didn't like the point that somehow Germany will be pressing the Russians to renew this the pledge to continue to transport natural gas through Ukraine, come what may, because they say, hey, shouldn't Russia be asked about whether he wants to do it? And so it's saying something like the Kremlin says something. This is exclusively the matter of economic feasibility and profitability. And this is Dmitry Peskov said, we would prefer also to see a message to Ukraine in the joint statement that Ukraine should demonstrate a responsible position as regards the provision of economically feasible conditions for the continuation of such a transit. I regret saying we do not see such a message to Ukraine. So what's making a reasonable point is that you're telling us we've got to, for 10 years, we're going to keep transporting natural gas to Ukraine, but you're not asking Ukraine to actually, do something to make this a viable, profitable project. But in any case, this particular saga has come to an end. And at the very end, still nobody grasped the point that you and I, Peter, have said many, many times, that this is a matter that was a present for Germany. It was Germany that wanted this natural gas. It was never a present for the Russians. It was the Germans who basically, if Ukraine's interests were harmed, then it was done through Germany, because Germany said we can't have an unreliable source of energy. Our whole export industry relies on cheap energy, and we can't have it interrupted by it is going through Ukraine. So that's why they wanted this under the Baltic Sea. And but Germany under Merkel, pretends that somehow, well, we did this favor for the Russians. Maybe we shouldn't have done it, but hey, it's done now. What can we do? Complete and utter nonsense. But anyway, the end is near. Peter, what's your take?
The only unreliable issue in all of this is Ukraine,
yeah.
Okay? Because there's a pipeline. It used to be a Soviet pipeline, and with the end of the Soviet Union and the independence of Ukraine, they inherited the pipeline. They didn't take care of it. They didn't invest in it. As a matter of fact, they punctured so many holes in it, siphoning off, stealing not their gas,
right.
Russian gas that was sold to European countries on the other side, okay? Right. And so, and then the incompetence continues. Right. And then you have the illegal government change in Kiev in February 2014. Okay, that added to Europe's woes, not Russia's woes. Okay, and then you encourage the Ukrainians to use it as a political weapon. I thought, oh no, it's the Russians that use it. No, it's Ukraine that uses it as a political weapon. Another issue. Ensure after 2024 that the transit agreement continues. Well, George, it used to be during Comic-Con where members of Comic-Con were forced to make economic decisions based on Moscow's wishes. Right. Okay, and so here we go again. So you're telling a sovereign country who it can trade with. I guess it's the rules-based order again coming in. All right. I mean, all of this has been ludicrous from the very beginning. Also, energy reliability. No, it's America that wants to sell LNG at 3 times the price of Russian gas. Okay, so I mean, you're right. The Russian response was kind of tongue-in-cheek about feasibility. I mean, we did the feasibility. The Germans did the feasibility. The EU did the feasibility, not the Americans, because the Americans they would like to keep Russia out, and they want to take over that energy market. They don't care about European energy security. No, they care about their bottom line.
That's right. But that was what was always so ludicrous. I mean, that was Trump's idea. Hey, well, buy our own LNG. But if you buy the US LNG, that still doesn't do anything for Ukraine. So the whole argument that, well, we've got to do something to help Ukraine, and somehow, it's bypassing Ukraine. Poor Ukraine, it can't earn
bypasses.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not going to earn anything if US sells the LNG to Germany. But in any case, where is it written? Is it in the UN Charter, or is it in the Constitution of the United States, or the Constitution of Germany, or wherever European Charter, that energy must flow through Ukraine, and Ukraine must be able to earn money through being a transit country for natural gas? And if it works, they earn their fees. If it doesn't, then they don't. I mean, it's like in any business anywhere. So the whole idea, well, you can't do this. This is absolutely unacceptable because Ukraine must earn its transit fees. It's absurd.
Who would have thought, George? Considering us growing up, who would have thought it would be the Russians to try to explain how supply and demand works in the marketplace?
Right.
Okay. Right. And again, to stress to everyone, it was the Germans that wanted this second pipeline.
Right.
They asked for it because, it's a payoff, a payday for Putin. There are plenty of people that want Russian natural gas. They got a lot of it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, of course, it would have been a total waste of money after building it and not using it. Okay, fine. All right. But it's not the end of the world. It would be pure stupidity, but not the end of the world. Right. I mean, Russia would still be there, okay? Right. I mean, the way it's portrayed in the media is completely warped. It's so warped.
Completely. And basically, it's Merkel going to bungle her energy policy with she basically got rid of all the nuclear energy program. Then she embrace the whole zero fossil emissions. Well, all that was left was the natural gas. So, but what she's done, you know, typical Merkel, is somehow shifted responsibility from herself. So it seemed as if it was the Russians who had behaved unreasonably, and she kind of, oh well, I just sort of went along with it. You know, I don't know anything about anything. You know, it was her plan. I mean, that was the fact is that. You know, the Russians had already said we're not going to go along with that. Was it the third energy package? What it's called, which is basically that we're not going to control the pipes. They said no, no more of those agreements whereby we don't actually control the pipes. And so Merkel then said, well, hey, let's do it under the sea, and therefore you will control the pipes.
And it's bilateral. EU, you have nothing to do with this, okay? Because that's with South Stream, you know, that's what we're trying to do, try to bring in the EU and everything. And the Russians said, no, we'd gone down that path before, okay? Yeah. So, I mean, just the basic facts of this story have been wrong from the very, very beginning. It's actually a very harmless story. Right. And Merkel, you know, she's leaving very, very soon. Don't let the door hit you in the backside on the way out, because Merkel standing, at least in 2014, she could have said, no, do not recognize that illegal government in Kiev. Honor the agreement that the EU just signed. She could have pushed back. She didn't. And so, and then she has to worry about, Ukraine's unstable. Maybe we won't get our natural gas. Angela, wake up. What are you doing? It's called the law of unintended consequences.
Right. Yeah. That's right. But I mean, all those years of instability, I mean, but Ukraine was siphoning off gas that didn't belong to it. But also, Ukraine wasn't paying its bills. And, you know, there's a point, you know, you're going to have to pay your bills. I mean, like in any walk of life, I mean, ultimately, I mean, if you don't pay your bill, then, you know, like your alcohol tab, you know, comes to an end. You know, the bartender stops giving you drinks. So if they, you know, they didn't pay their bill, their gas bills, Russia eventually just cut off the natural gas. So, but that's the reason why this was a very unreliable route. I mean, and that it was a very sensible, and they're bringing up all this nonsense that, oh, this is really going to have terrible environmental consequences. How is that going to have any environment? I mean, if ever there's a clean source of energy, I mean, the pipe, it's natural gas, the pipes are under the sea. I don't get, you know, but a lot of these American congressmen are bleating on today about the terrible environmental consequences of Nord Stream 2.
But NATO membership is still on the table. Did you see how stupid all this is, George? Ukraine can't pay for the energy. It won't be able to heat its own homes, but you still have a seat at the table at NATO. I mean, these people, I mean, this just shows you how they're just ideologically blind.
Right, okay? Right. Yes.
Don't worry. We'll still get you in NATO. You're freezing in the winter. Great. That's what allies are for, George.
Right. I wonder, I mean, Zelensky's coming on August the 30th. The problem with coming on August the 30th is that nobody's in town at that time. I mean, it's like, you know, it's just before Labor Day. So it's basically the end of the summer. People are just enjoying the last couple of weeks of summer. So it's not exactly going to be kind of a hail the conquering hero comes, because there's not going to be anyone to meet him. I mean,
well, Hunter's free.
Is what?
Hunter Biden, I think, is
well,
free.
Hunter Biden probably, yes. You know, hey, you know, can I have some more money, please?
I have some receipts. The big guy, he's been calling me.
but otherwise, I just don't know who's going to be in town on August the 30th. So, but that's the date scheduled, and our friend Michael McFaul is already giving a 2 thumbs up. You know, this is finally we're going to have good relations between. You know, they'll be put on an even keel, U.S.-Ukraine relations. Yes.
Even. These people are so amusing. Okay. I mean, what's amusing about it is they say it with a straight face. It's an amazing talent. It really is. Okay.
Yes.
It just shows everyone. success has nothing to do with intelligence or competence, apparently.
Oh, no, that's exactly right. You know, I'm always amazed. The guy's a professor at Stanford. I mean, you know, that's a very prestigious thing to have. I mean, look, he was a US ambassador to Russia. I mean, also an extremely prestigious position. He bungled that quite spectacularly. I mean, you get a big job and you make a complete hash of it. But, you know, at least you get a gig as a TV commentator, the expert on Russia, to while away the days.
He's not. He's a democracy promotion expert.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. No, exactly. But you know, as far as the TV is concerned, you know, here's our expert on Russia.
The fools were surrounded by.
That's
all right, everybody. We're on Locals, so type in thegaggle.locals.com. Please join us in a Zoom chat with George and I. We're doing it with Gagglers. The Gaggle store is up and running. There's some really cool things there. We're organizing a Q&A, and I'm pleased to announce that live streaming is within our grasp, and I always give the
very shortly. Yep. And yeah, so we got this Q&A, which was really exciting. We'll be answering Gaggler's questions. I think we've already got a whole bank of very good questions. So looking forward to doing that. And we have a tip jar. We rely on tips. We rely on the generosity of our Gagglers. You know, the more help we get, the better the product. We don't have, unfortunately, we have Buddy, but George Soros.
Big appetite.
Yeah, big appetite, but George Soros, he's not knocking on our doors. So remember, if you like the Gaggle, please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon. Bye, Buddy.